Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope everyone had a great week. I have my
Hello.
partner in crime as usual, Cindy, and we have our welcoming back guest, Carnivore Kipp. Kipp, we are so happy to have you back because Cindy could not be here last time. She was under the weather, as she mentioned in the chat last time. So she did come out in full support in the chat, but we're so happy to have you back on.
I appreciate y'all having me here. And yeah, I remember last time she wasn't able to make it. So it's really cool that she was able to make it tonight because, me and both of y'all, we go back a while now. And so this is the first time I've actually got to talk to Cindy in a live stream. So I'm excited about tonight.
Well, thank you, Kip.
Right?
Yeah, the last time I couldn't talk. It strep really bad. I could not talk.
Yeah, because I remember we started our carnivore journeys like a few days apart, and then we also started our YouTube channels a few days apart as well. So it's interesting that we literally started both things exactly at the same time. So it's really cool.
Yeah, Sana, you were one of the first people that I spoke to like about carnivore once I
Yeah,
started my channel. It was like me, I think I talked to you a little bit and the carnivore trucker, Sean, the carnivore
Sean,
trucker,
right?
and then carnivore couple, Pat and Kate. Those were like
Yes,
the ones that I talked to really early on because we all started like at similar times.
exactly. And we kept it so plain and simple in the beginning.
Yep.
We have a Lynn in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Rick, good to be here. We're happy to have you here. Doug Hooks is in the chat. Hey there, Kip. Welcome, welcome. We have Jeff Foltz. Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Glad to see everyone in here. Get Fit Fancy Pants. I love that handle
I
name.
was just going to say that. That's just great.
Hey from South Carolina. Y'all are so encouraging.
Thank
No,
you.
you all of us, and I know this is something Kip says all the time on his channel. You all are the ones that encourage us to keep going. If we didn't have everyone's support, and everyone on this panel can speak on behalf of that, if we didn't have all of your support, it would be a lonely journey and it wouldn't be as many successful days as it is. So it's great
Absolutely.
to have
There's
the
been
support.
times that I've, me personally, got like a message on Messenger from Facebook or something, and it just be somebody that has watched one of my videos, and my phone will just ding, and they'll say something super encouraging, and they're probably thinking, "Oh, like he don't have time to read that or whatever."
Right.
I'm like, "No, I actually read that stuff." And it just encourages me and lifts me up. So for all of you guys that reach out to me, I appreciate it because sometimes like I'm feeling like I'm the only one in my house doing carnivore or on this journey, and whenever I hear somebody say something encouraging, like sometimes we really need that.
No, absolutely. We got Vicky from Connecticut in the house. Hello, hello, welcome. We have low carb introvert, which I believe this is Jennifer. Hello,
Yes.
everyone. Hello, Jennifer. And then we got John in the house.
I love
Hello,
John.
John.
John's
John,
awesome.
yes,
Gugahan.
he's very, very, very supportive.
Gugahan, like Emily says.
Yes,
Nope.
Greenville. Very cool. Welcome, welcome. They're
Which
exchanging
Greenville is that? Greenville,
information.
South Carolina,
South
or
Carolina. Yep,
okay?
because Doug, right here, Doug Hooks was asking
We
that
have
he
a
just
Greenville
moved
here
from
in
Sierra Leone.
Alabama too.
Oh, very cool. Very,
Y'all
very
might hear my
cool.
daughter banging on her piano in the other room. I can hear her beating on her piano.
That's
Oh,
okay.
no. Yep,
This
that's
is real
okay.
life stuff.
Exactly. That's why I tell everybody that I'm actually more happy to hear all like the background noise because Cindy sometimes will have her dog barking, and I love to hear it because that's real life living right there.
Even
Mr.
though he's out through
Carnivore,
this
welcome,
door,
welcome. He's guarding the door, Cindy.
he's out with Brian in the garage, I think.
Paulette, Good Friday from North Carolina. Welcome, welcome. Oh, we have a lot from the Carolinas in here. Very cool. Rick,
Debbie's
very few
another one.
people reach out to me. I guess they're afraid of ducks. Well, we love all the duck talk, Rick. So definitely keep it coming,
I'm gonna have to get me some duck and smoke it for Rick and make a video on it.
right? Or maybe the iguanas.
Yeah, some iguanas.
Do you guys have any because I know last time we spoke, Kip, you did say that you're really close to the Florida line. Do
Yeah,
you
I'm
guys
like
get
10
any
minutes from
iguanas?
Florida. No, we don't have.
You
We're
know?
we're 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 close to like a northwest Florida, so it's more like
Oh,
country
okay.
and stick land
Right,
and
right, right,
stuff
right.
like that.
Oh gosh, so you're fortunate then, because the
Yeah, we don't
iguanas, I
have
tell you,
iguanas.
are something else over here, especially when we get the dip in temperature and they end up like going into comatose and they're falling asleep and falling out of trees and stuff. It gets wild here during our cold time. This is Deb Riley. This is Cindy's sister. Hi, Cindy,
Mhm.
Sana. I made it. We're so happy we're able to make it.
If
Okay,
you
in
know where if
here.
you know where Pensacola, Florida is,
Hmm.
I'm like 50 minutes from there.
I'm like quite a distance from there. I think the last time we spoke, I think I looked it up. I think it was like around like 6 to 8 hours, I think it was.
Probably so.
Yeah, it's way out there. Yes, a lot of others. This mentioning of I'm the only carnivore in my house. So when I was also doing carnivore, I was the only one. Well, the rest of my family was keto. So, well, they were able to have, and dabble in a lot of different keto stuff. Still, yeah, you really did have to have your focus and remember your whys. So even though them being on a spectrum of the proper human diet, it still can get tricky, but keep on going. Remember your whys in those moments that you get tempted to any of their stuff. Uh, Kip, can you speak on behalf of that as far as being the only carnivore in the house? What kind of keeps you going?
Well, I feel like it gets easier over time, and so in the beginning, like for me, like that first month, even whenever I've been off plan and got back on plan, if I can make it a month, I can
Hmm.
make it. And so after that, it just gets easier and easier. But now, still, like sometimes when I leave the house, and it's crazy. You would think if there's something that's not carnivore in the house, it would affect me, but it's normally behind like a cabinet door or something, so I don't see it.
Mm, right,
But
right, right.
because I don't never go in the pantry anymore, I always get my food out of the refrigerator, and so I don't touch the pantry. So, but what's crazy is when I'm away from the house and I'm like in the city or something like that, and I see all these restaurant signs and stuff, that's what I have to be careful with because at home I don't really see that stuff even though it might be here.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And that's the thing about it. You even mentioned any times of going off plan. The thing about it is don't dwell in that moment. You know, take accountability because you want to analyze kind of what made you go off plan, like what was going through your mind, kind of just to have that awareness, if you will. But still, yeah, do not stress yourself about it because that stressing yourself about it is going to throw you in such a loop and kind of make you feel like you want to completely give in. Like, you know what? I messed up this one day. And if it's like, especially on the weekend, you figure, you know what? I'm just going to let the weekend go and Monday's a new day. No, like start over the next day or start over the next meal. Don't stress about like that one indulgence you had. And I think that's like important thing because you have to also focus on your mental health part of this as well. And to dwell on something like that, I mean, everyone is human. Everybody is definitely human.
And that to go along with what you're saying, Sana, that's one thing that I've been
Hmm.
working on this year. See, last year, sometimes I would beat myself up. Like if I went off plan, I would, because I have a tendency of being my worst critic and being really
Right?
hard on myself.
Mhm.
And so, and I still struggle with that. So I'm trying to work on it. And,
Hmm.
there were times last year where if I went off plan, I'd be like, man, you done messed up now. You might as well do it the whole weekend, or you might as well wait a week and start back and just enjoy that food while you can. And it's these mind games that we tell ourselves. But this time, whenever I went off plan once in January, I mean, or no, it might have been like the middle of February. I had like one plan or one meal that was off plan, like fried chicken and all kind of Southern food,
Right,
and
right.
which I didn't feel very good the next day. But I was thinking about it when I was brushing my teeth that next morning. I was thinking like, okay, so what are you gonna do now? Like
Mhm.
you had the off plan meal, or you had that meal that you know you shouldn't have had. Are you just gonna let it continue, or are you just gonna get back on the horse right now
Right.
immediately? And so I jumped right back into the swing of things. And within a day or two, it was like
Yeah.
behind me, and I don't even think it really affected me that much. But if I would have went off plan for a whole week, it would have took a while to recover from that. And it's dangerous to do that, because when
Yeah.
you're a carb and a sugar addict like I am, when you go way off plan, like sometimes it's very, very hard to get back on plan.
No, that's true, and I'm glad you're mentioning that because what a lot of people have to realize is sometimes it's not so quick to be able to get back on track. Sometimes we're very much a work in progress to get our mentality almost kind of like in check that, you know what, I need to stop doing this to myself. Like, I know I shouldn't be, and I got to pinpoint, possibly what's causing me to. And it takes a lot, just like on approaching anything, like on the proper human diet, everyone has to see what works for them. For some
Absolutely.
people, keto works for them. Like that's how you and I first started was keto. Um,
Mhm.
we got to see how it goes with keto. If we feel like, oh, I don't really feel keto is giving me the proper goals I want, there's always ketovore. Then the next tier carnivore. I mean, there's always that process that we're putting ourselves through, especially with the mentality of things, because I'm telling you, like the mental game of this all, it could either make you or break you at times. But I'm happy you mentioned that because that's really something that day by day, like we just need to keep thinking about it. Like you were just brushing your teeth and went through a thought process about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's huge right there because that really shows, day to day, you're not giving up on yourself. And that's the things people have to focus on. It's the not giving up that's going to speak volumes more than that one slip up.
Yeah.
Even if it was one
Exactly.
meal, one day, you're not giving up.
Yeah.
And that's more than we could say of who we are prior to these journeys.
Yeah, and as far as keto goes, I have a tremendous amount of respect for people that are doing keto, and there's a lot of my subscribers say,
Right.
"Hey, I'm keto or I do ketovore," and that's
Hmm.
perfectly fine. And I want to make sure that I set the record straight with people that like I'm not like anti keto or anything. The main reason
Exactly.
that I'm not doing keto right now because I don't think that I'm not one of those people that think like if you have some lettuce or if you have some avocados that it's going to harm you. I don't think that
Right.
it's going to hurt you at all. I think that for me, I just don't miss that stuff. Like I
Right.
don't miss. I've never been a person that liked veggies. I was always a meat and potato guy, and so I'm not really missing much by not having green beans and salad and things like
Hmm.
that different people have. And so the meat works for me, but for
Yeah.
people that want to add in, avocados and collard greens and all that other different stuff, hey, that's
Hmm.
awesome. And I'm not going to be like, hey, it's going to harm you because I just don't think that that's the case.
Exactly. I feel the same way. Like, I don't think it's fair to be putting kind of like a scare tactic out there to some people
Yeah.
because there are many people that have been on keto for decades. Like, even before keto was like a household name, people were on keto and they've been so successful. For
Yeah.
decades, they've been successful. So, I mean, who am I to knock anything anyone does? I mean, if it's working for them, if it's able to keep them healthy, happy in their own body, like who am I to say I don't live within their body? And I'm kind of like an example because literally just it's been what, 2 weeks now? I had to start reincorporating veggies and had to go ketovore because of my pregnancy. It was either getting the carbs from the keto veggies or my doctor wanted me to have carbs like toast and rice and sweet potato and potato. That's the craziness, I was being told. So to know that
Mhm.
there's an option that I can still pretty much be meat heavy, but adding in a little bit of veg. But just like you're saying, you don't desire that stuff. I'm going to tell you, it is very different introducing veggies again because it does not taste the same that I remember them tasting.
Do they
It,
taste better or worse?
it's almost like there's really no taste. The texture, I don't know, the texture is a little off-putting to me. So it is very minimal veggie that I'm doing. I'm literally doing like one serving of veg. And I'm always going in with like my seconds of whatever like my meat portion is. So
Mhm.
I don't know if anyone in the chat has had to add in some veg after being like a long period of time on carnivore, but it's very, very different.
I remember a while back, I had like I was craving for some reason, I was craving mushrooms on my steak. And I had those, and those still tasted fine to me. And then over one of the holidays, I don't remember which one, I guess it might have been like St. Patrick's Day last year or something. I had like some corned beef and I had cabbage, but the cabbage wasn't quite as good as it used to be. But I mean, I
Mm,
just didn't really think that much about it. But I
yeah,
just don't like, even whenever I went off the rails for like
right.
last year, I went off the rails for like 2 months at the end of the year. And I mean, I paid a big price for doing it. And during that time, even then, I wasn't craving veggies or thinking about veggies because
No.
I mean, that was never a huge part of my diet.
Here's a question for you, Kip.
Yes. So, hey, Kip, how's it going on that new cool bike you have?
Well, first, I want to say, hey, Lynn, because Lynn is like one of the most amazing people out there.
She is the
She's
very
been
best.
following my journey since like day one, and
Uh-huh.
she's always got something positive to say. So I
Mhm.
really care deeply about her.
Yes.
And as
She's
far as the bike
amazing.
goes, I love the bike. And now I have one of my subscribers actually bought that bike for me and gifted it to me. And then a little while later, another subscriber gifted me a trailer that I can put Abigail in behind the bike and
Oh,
let her ride
wow.
along with me on the bike. And she loves it too. She's always like, Daddy, faster, Daddy, go, go, go. I want to make a video at some point of pulling her on the bike and have show her because she's like smiling and grinning from ear to ear. So yes,
Oh
I
my
definitely love the
gosh.
bike and I have a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome.
No, that's super fun because that's also, those memories and those bonding times you could have with her while still getting that physical activity in for yourself. So it can't get any better than that. That's really cool.
I love it. I definitely love having that thing.
So, Kip, are you
So,
still doing beef, butter, bacon, and eggs?
This month, I'm not. I was planning to do it for 3 full months,
Mhm.
but in about halfway through the second month, I started having issues. Well, I'm not gonna say that the beef wasn't cutting it. I would say because the beef was working great. The problem was there were a few times where I wasn't prepared on my end. Like something came up on Sunday evening and I wasn't able to meal prep for the week. And
mhm.
then when I was at work, I didn't have a meal option and I was just like, what do I do? What do I do? So then I was like, well, I could go get like a rotisserie chicken or I could go get some bunless hamburgers from somewhere. And there eventually I just went and got like chicken wings or something like that. And
But if
so
that's the worst you did, that's fine. I commend you for doing a month and a half of it.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
did it for 1 month and I'd had enough.
Yeah,
That was
but
enough for
if I
me.
had somebody to cook my steak every time and have it ready for me at work and all that stuff, I think I
Right.
could just stick with it. But the problem with BBB and E for me is that it doesn't include seafood,
Mhm.
and I
Mm.
love seafood,
Oh my
especially shrimp.
goodness.
Like
And
I love
especially you being
shrimp.
in Alabama, that's
Yes,
huge.
I'm close to the coast. I'm close to the coast. I live not far from the
Right.
beach, and so seafood's huge here. And so I just can't do. That's like when people do line diet. I'm like, I cannot do line diet because it doesn't include shrimp. And that's why a
Yeah.
while back we started calling it sea line, where you do
Right.
steak and you can have seafood, because I just can't. I think that people have been fishing forever
Oh
and
yeah.
they've been hunting forever, of course.
Hmm.
And so I just see it as part of the proper human diet as well.
No, absolutely. Because it's all, straight from the source. That's where you're getting it from. You can't get any
Exactly.
fresher than that. But here we have thinking of traditional processed food we used to eat as being good food is part of the addiction. It's so hard to break and rewire our thinking. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely hard. Like especially when you have healthcare professionals. Um, I mean, everyone would kind of have to like watch that video that I had with my OB visit. But it's hard because then you have these healthcare professionals that are also trying to push this agenda of what the good food is. So it's difficult because even, when you do know you need help, you do need to lose weight, you do need to heal your body, the stuff that they're passing off as good food is still going to keep you sick. I mean, you might have a
Mhm.
little bit of changes because it's like a difference in diet than, complete standard American diet, but still yet you're not going to properly heal and a lot of you still going to remain sick.
Yeah, and see, I'm trying to make sure that even now, um, I found out that, which I've had to find it out the hard way a couple times,
Mhm.
that cheese is a problem for me.
Mm.
And so I'm limiting. I'm basically cutting out cheese right now, and I'm not saying I'll never have cheese again, but I'm also trying to make sure I keep it as whole real meat as probable as possible, like not processed at all. But if I'm
Yeah.
ever in a pinch or anything, I've even heard Dr. Barry say, like, if you got to eat a vein or sausage, or if you have to eat a hot
Yeah.
dog in a pinch and there's nothing else around, don't beat
Exactly.
yourself up. Just eat it and get back
Yeah.
to whatever it was you were doing the next day, because some people will down it so
Mhm.
bad. There's people that'll say, like, if you eat like a sausage that's
Right.
has something, a little bit of something in it,
Yeah.
they'll unsubscribe from your channel. And I'm like, are you serious?
No, that's too dogmatic for me. But Dr. Barry, he will definitely tell you eat within your budget. Like do not feel like if you want to go carnivore, it's going to cost you a lot of money
Mhm.
that you got to buy, the most expensive steak out there, the most expensive cut. Um, eat within your budget. Eat within your budget. Like, do not feel bad if what you got to get is like the cheapest of burger patties, the cheapest of ground beef, the cheapest of hot dogs. Don't feel bad about it because you are literally doing a lot better than the standard American diet you left.
10 times better.
And it's like, so nobody should feel guilt tripped that they're doing bad by even something like that. Because even, we buy these, they're like these organic hot dogs that we get from Aldi. And it's literally the cheapest, but is it perfect still yet? No. Even with it being organic, no nitrites, none of that nonsense, but still it got seasonings in it that some would flip about because it's not pure carnivore. It's not clean carnivore. But then again, just like you, Kip, and just like Cindy, I don't have any issue with seasonings.
Yeah,
You know, we
I like
both
what Jason, just Jason Keto and more just said. He said hot dogs and mustard are better than Cokes and Doritos. And
Right.
that's
absolutely,
true, because there's been times where
absolutely.
that's what I've had as my meal, and that
Yeah.
will get you by way better
Oh
than
yeah,
going and getting a honey bun and a Pepsi or something like that.
exactly. When you mention the cheese, this might tie into Jason's question here. Anyone experience stomach pain from carnivore?
Whenever I had a bunch of cheese multiple
Yeah,
days in a row, like
yeah,
I actually got like the pizza toppings without the crust,
right.
and I'll tell you, it tasted wonderful.
Yeah,
It
it
tasted
always
so
tastes good.
good, but I done it a few times actually, and it did not set right with my stomach, and so and I know it's all that cheese and everything.
I remember also when you mentioned when you had went on the cruise and you had some cheese. I remember it was giving you some irritations also.
I gained on that cruise. I remember I gained 6 pounds, and I was eating as close to carnivore as I could, except for
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I was having a bunch of cheese, but
right.
and some of the oils that they use when they cook is not the best. But even though I did all that walking on the cruise and all
Yeah.
that stuff, I still gained 6 pounds. So it had to been like inflammation.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely.
Well, they probably
More than
use a lot of
likely.
seed oils on the cruises and stuff. So
Exactly.
without a doubt, even if you ate as
Yeah,
cleanly as you could, you don't know what they're using behind the scenes for
right.
cooking
But
in and
even with, that inflammation, like that water weight, still, yeah, that's what comes off the quickest.
Oh
So if
yeah,
on a
within like
cruise you
3 or 4
just gained
days of
six
being home, it
pounds
was gone.
exactly from water weight, you still did amazing. Some
Um,
might think I'm crazy for saying that, but listen, out of all the stuff that's available on a cruise, you still did amazing. But like Vicky's saying, I did try green beans the other day and they tasted awful. All I want is hamburger, eggs, shrimp, and steak. Yeah, it's different. I wouldn't say any veggie I've had yet has tasted bad. It does not taste like I remember. Having a bike is nice, but I'm grateful I did not have to ride mine this week. Oh, because of the heat. Is it possible because of the heat, Rick? Hi, Cindy and everyone.
I think
Hello,
Rick was
Jerry.
having issues with his truck or something, but maybe he's got his truck running again.
Oh, hopefully, Rick. Sorry to hear about your truck. Ellie, welcome, welcome. I agree about seafood. I don't challenges personally. I love my variety. Yes, yes. Because just like Kip said, that variety definitely it makes it more sustainable. Because you're still having the things you enjoy. You don't feel restricted.
Yeah, I mean, I would be okay with like, I mean, the way I see it, like if somebody asked me, "What do you want for your last meal?" Like, I wouldn't just say steak. I would say surf and turf. I would say steak and some seafood. I want give me some shrimp, some lobster, some crawfish or something. I want some seafood with it, and I'm still gonna eat
Yeah.
that steak, but I don't want just that beef. I just love
Mhm.
seafood too much to leave that out.
Yep.
Jeff is saying scallops fried in butter. Yum. Have you had scallops very often?
Yeah, well, I don't have them often because they're not cheap. They're expensive, but they are
Especially
definitely
the good
very good.
ones.
Pan serum and some real butter or something like that, or wagyu
Yes.
tallow, and they're really really good.
Yeah. Just like Rick saying, heart attack, shrimp fried in tallow and lard. The best. So
See, this making me hungry.
I take it you haven't had dinner yet.
No, I haven't ate nothing today, so
Oh no.
but I've got 2 steaks thawed out that I'm gonna cook real quick once we get done tonight.
There you
So
go.
Anthony's asking, can you talk about how expectations from others can make things seem harder than what they are? I'm doing well. I'm fully carnivore now and I fast 3 times a week, but I feel like it's not enough. So we'll have Kip weigh on this first.
Well, I've just learned from experience that everybody has an opinion, and it doesn't from having a channel like okay, so when you have a ton of people that are watching what you're doing, you
Yeah.
get like if I post a video and say this is what I'm doing, there's going to be some people that comment saying I wouldn't do that, I would do this instead. So what I've had to learn to do is just follow my gut
Yeah.
and do what feels right for me, and definitely research it, and talk to some other people in the community that you trust, whether it be friends that you met along the way or some of the
Mhm.
doctors that you value their opinion. But you got to listen to your body,
Yes.
and your body will tell you if you're eating the meat and you're providing that enough fat and protein, um you'll figure things out. And some people say only eat once a day or eat twice a day, or don't have this, don't have pepper, or do. And there's so many different opinions, and people get fighting mad over some stuff, and I'm like,
Mhm.
man, because if people are like that, it's going to ruin such a great thing.
Yeah.
It'll cause so much division in the community, and we all just need to support each other and find our own ways. And if you want to fast and you feel like you should fast, then fast. But
Yeah.
if you don't and you still eat the meat and you feel great, just keep doing that.
No, absolutely. Cindy, you have anything to add about this before I put in the answer?
There are so many opinions out there, like Kipp was saying. And the whole
Mhm.
thing about whether it's keto, ketovore, carnivore, low carb, whatever it is, we have to find out what works for us.
Amen.
And, as
Mhm.
far as the fasting goes, I do intermittent fasting every day,
Mhm.
unintentionally. I just don't, I'm not hungry in the morning,
Exactly.
So I mean, obviously, that's a personal choice if you want to do
Mhm.
a long fast or whatever. I have done a few 3-day fasts before, which is, it's all right. I feel good when I do it, but I don't do it often.
Right.
Um, I am not fully carnivore by no
Yeah.
means, but my everybody's goal in the proper human
Mhm.
diet spectrum is to improve our health. So however you eat and
Mhm.
whatever you find that works for you, if it's vegetables with your meat, whatever, that's great.
Mhm.
As long as you're working towards that goal of better health. That's what your
Exactly.
goal should be in the end. So, what anybody else says about what you do, or ignore it. Find what works for
Exactly.
you and move on, because people
Exactly.
can be cruel.
Yeah, I've had to learn that and get a little
Mhm.
bit thicker skin
Yeah.
sometimes for what different people might say. But I mean, sometimes I feel like eating 2 meals in a day. I would say more often than not, I eat
Yeah.
twice a day, lunch
Same.
and supper. But
Yeah.
sometimes I only eat once a day. And but if I wake up one morning and I'm at work and I want some bacon, because they do bacon in the oven at work every day,
Oh,
or
okay.
at where I work at. And so if they do bacon and I just happen to want bacon that morning,
Right.
I'll get it, because I'm not living inside this, oh, you
Yeah.
have to do this certain way. If
Exactly.
my body says, "Hey, you want some bacon," then I'm gonna go get some bacon,
Mhm.
and I'm not gonna feel bad about it.
How could you work in a
Exactly.
place that's cooking bacon and not eat bacon?
Listen, he's surrounded by the best air freshener at that job. You can't get
That's
any better
awesome.
than that. But my input would be, when it comes to expectation, everyone will have an expectation of you. Just like everybody will have an opinion of what you're doing. If you feel like you need to tune out those people, do not feel guilty of it, because guess what? You have to put yourself first. For most, you got to put yourself first. This is about your journey, your body, your mental health state. And if it takes you having to tune out others to kind of have all of that kind of come to, a stable part for you where you can kind of start listening a little bit to others, I would say focus on the ones that are going to bring the encouragement, that are going to bring the motivation, like minded individuals. As far as you're saying, you're now fully carnivore, that is huge in itself. When it comes to the fasting, we all have to remember we don't eat when we sleep. So we already naturally are intermittent fasting. If you skip breakfast, you're prolonging that intermittent fasting. But just like Cindy and just like Kip said, don't feel like it is a must, because just like any of the healthcare professionals that are well known in the community will even say, eat when you're hungry, because you are eating the very best food that you don't have to feel like you have to delay that food. That food, you got to think of it differently now. We're not just eating it because we're wanting to snack. If your body is telling you, like, I need food, and if you're able to distinguish between just feeling like you want to eat something out of boredom and then the difference of true hunger, that is also important because a lot of times we fast because I've been there, done that myself. We fast and we are prolonging when our body is truly having hunger when we should be satiating our body. You know, I should have never ignored my body. Like I learn about it now, we learn through these things. Um, but a lot of times I did intermittent fasting and it wasn't a healthy approach that I was doing. And because I saw a lot of other people out there did prolong intermittent fasting because they were like, "Oh, autophagy, you're going to have such amazing benefits from autophagy. The inflammation will always be reduced." You hear all these great things about it, but just like Cindy and Kip said, do the best that you can. If one day you don't feel like doing prolonged fasting, oh well, you are still doing good for your body. But here's Jason's comment about the hot dogs and mustard are better than the Coke and Doritos. Oh, absolutely.
I love the way you say hot dogs.
Here's
So
the
does
comment
Brett.
here. I can't
It's,
help it. It's the
where
Jersey
I'm
in
from,
me.
it's a hot dog. It's a
It's the
hot dog where
Jersey
I'm
in me.
from. Oh,
Oh my gosh. We need to do like a series, Kip. You, the country boy's pronunciation, and me, the Jersey
yeah,
girl, the city girl.
yeah. How different carnivores talk.
I had to eat hot dogs and eggs for my OMAD yesterday. In a pinch, forgot to prep my steaks and had some unforeseen things come up. And you see, and you did amazing. Those are amazing choices. You could not have that steak, but guess what? You still got some great foods in. Have you had to just kind of have like some quick options like that, Kip? I know you mentioned the hot dogs. How do you do with
Yeah.
eggs?
I don't crave them as much as a lot of other people do, but every now and then I'll cook my steak, and then once I get done cooking a steak, then I'll throw the eggs in the leftover grease because I cook my steaks normally in tallow, and when
Mm,
I get done, there's some grease left over, and I'll just toss
yeah,
my eggs in there and then toss them on top of my steak, and I enjoy it like that. But sometimes, like it'll be like my wife. I'll tell my wife, "Hey, will you thaw out some steak for
yeah.
supper? That way I can eat it when I get home." And then there's been a couple times where she'll be like, "Babe, I forgot to thaw them out." And then if she
Mm,
forgets to thaw them out, I'll just be like, "You know what? I'll just run and get me some bunless hamburgers from Sonic, or there's a Mexican restaurant here that has hot wings, and yes, it has the hot sauce on top of the wings, but
right.
it's 10 times better than eating
Mm-hmm.
like, a ton of
Yeah.
carbs and all that stuff. So I'll just get some hot wings or something like that."
And that's the best option that they say is like if you can get like a buffalo sauce, you're still doing better, or like a hot sauce kind of
It
thing.
didn't really affect me. There's been a time
Yeah,
where I've got on the scale the day after, and
right.
I still either maintained my weight or lost
Mm-hmm.
more weight. So it definitely wasn't like, but if I had ate a bunch of cheese
Right, right, right.
and then stepped on the scale the next day, the
Yeah.
scale would go up.
Yeah, because they say it doesn't give like I guess as much impact because for the most part, a lot of
Mhm.
places in their buffalo sauce or their hot sauce, they don't put really any wonky oils in it. It's really,
Mhm.
just your basic pepper. Some
Mhm.
might put like a little paprika for, that coloring a little bit to come
Mhm.
more like, profound. And you got your vinegar and stuff like that. So that's what I've always heard in the community that it's
Mhm.
like literally, if you have your condiment for your hot dogs or burgers, go with the mustard. And if you need something with your chicken, go with like a buffalo or like a hot sauce. So you did great. We have Joyce that she does have a question tied into this. Hi, everyone. It has been a while since January 10th. Our world has been turned upside down and had to go off plan. Things are getting better, but it has been hard to get back on track. Any suggestions
To get back on plan.
to get back on track? So you touched on this a little bit. And I know you spoke about kind of like that discussion you go through with yourself. So maybe you can kind of speak a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, if I was off plan, I would just look at it like I'm asking myself if I was off plan. if I was off plan, I like way off plan, I would probably just ask myself like, where do you see yourself a year from now? Like what do you want to see yourself achieving a year from now? Do you want to, because if you stay off plan,
Mhm.
you ain't gonna achieve nothing.
Yeah.
You're gonna gain weight. You're gonna have inflammation back. Your shoulder, because my shoulder always hurt all the time. My shoulder's gonna be hurting. All these different things, but if I want to see myself achieving things a year from now and losing the weight like I want to, or just feeling better in general, or going for more walks, and because I've noticed when you fuel your body the right way, your
Mhm.
mindset changes. Whenever I
Mhm.
start eating meat for like a month, I feel like dynamite. Even
Yeah.
though I'm still not, I don't got a Dr. Chafee body or anything like that, but I feel 10 times better than I ever felt by eating this way. So I would just ask myself, what do you want in your future? If you want to, go back to the way things used to be, do that. But if not, it's time to dig deep and get back on track. And the good thing is, you can make that decision right now. You can start in the morning, and regardless of what you've done today, every day is a new day. So you can just make that decision that I'm starting back and just go for it.
No, absolutely. That's great, great, amazing advice because that's the thing, you know, you dealt with a situation and I think that's very much where you needed your focus to be. And then now that you feel like you're at a point now where, okay, like I need to get back on track, now you can get back into things, but, if you feel like you need to do things slow, that's okay. If you feel like you kind of just need to keep things really simple to kind of get yourself back on track, don't complicate anything to, overwhelm yourself too much, kind of keep things simple. Um, that's okay too. Start back however you feel like it's not going to put a lot of stress on you because then it
Yeah.
becomes really overwhelming. So I would just say, don't have any regret. You dealt with, what you needed to personally. Take one day at a time. Just like Kip said, take it one day at a time. Cindy, do you want to speak on behalf of that when it comes to
With Joyce's
getting
comment,
back on track?
yes, just keep it simple. She's done this for a while. She knows what she needs to do.
Hmm.
Just don't
Yeah,
overthink it. Keep it as simple as possible. That's the only way it's going to be sustainable for anybody. Don't overthink it.
And that I call it the light will switch on. Like
mm,
if you just you just keep it simple and you just give it a few weeks or whatever. If you don't feel that motivation in the beginning, trust me, that motivation will come. Like
hmm,
when you start feeling better and you start getting back in the swing of things. Even when I started back after the first of the year, like at first I was like, I gotta eat this, but whenever I started doing it, and yeah, I noticed a couple weeks in, it becomes that routine again. And she's already done it for so long before that,
right.
like, that
Yeah,
routine, she'll get right back in her routine, and it'll just be like
exactly.
she was never off plan.
Exactly. That
Now that
second
sounds good.
nature is
Eggs
going to
and
kick
pork
in.
belly. Eggs and pork belly. Yep.
Yes. Too bad I cannot partake because unfortunately the kids and I were allergic to piggy. I know. I know. I did so Anthony was just adding a little context to his question. So he has a loss of 106 pounds in 8 months from being ketovore. Congratulations. That is
Wow.
huge.
So you're
60
doing
pounds on
great.
ketovore and 46 pounds on carnivores. That is amazing. You know, just those two numbers separately on their own is huge. And then when you combine them for that 106 pounds total, that's amazing. That's
Mhm.
amazing. And it's one of those things where don't worry about the expectation of others because you are doing amazing.
Right.
That the opinion of anyone, No, you do not need to take that into consideration. You are doing an
Right,
amazing
Anthony.
job.
You already know that it works for you. So whatever anybody else
Absolutely.
is saying, oh well.
And
You're leading
Anthony
by example. You're doing a great, great job. So
and
that's
Anthony, I
good.
want to tell you too, like, um, you're doing incredible, and you're actually inspiring me because whenever I was doing my best, I the most I've lost was 104 pounds. So you got me beat, brother. So you just know that you got me beat, and you're doing amazing. So whatever it is that you're doing, keep doing that because it's definitely working.
Yeah, that is definitely not anything to take lightly. 106 pounds gone. I see many like in all the different communities, keto, carnivore, ketovore, where they actually go to the grocery store and they get something, whether it's like a bag of potatoes or bag of like oranges or something, just to kind of have that context of what that much weight would look like. And 106 pounds, I don't think we can visually wrap our mind around it because now we see our new body and visually you kind of see that, but to really take into understanding how much weight really 106 pounds was,
I'm
that
gonna tell
potentially
you.
could be a whole person right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I lost 100 pounds,
Yeah,
it was like I can't even fathom
yeah,
carrying 100 pound weight around with me. That's just crazy. And to know that I did that on a daily basis for so many years is just unthinkable.
well, you
It's
want to hear
crazy.
something funny? I lost 147 pounds. My husband is 151 pounds.
Wow.
Take that into consideration.
You almost lost him.
That's what I told him. I said, I lost you, but I didn't really lose you. Susie,
Wow.
hello, Susie. Susie's another fave because she's so, so supportive. Are
Yes.
there any new carnivore recipes you want to try in the smoker or the grill? So we all know for the most part about Kipp's beautiful Shirley, his beautiful smoker.
So for me to answer that, so when it comes to like smoking meat and stuff like that, I think the more simple it is, the better. So like the more just like if you want to do salt and pepper, garlic, maybe throw in a little bit of cayenne or something like that if you want to add a little bit of depth to it. But you don't have to have these crazy different seasonings that have all these different things and do all these different recipes. Recipes is great and it's cool, but like a lot of the if you're in the carnivore space, a lot of your recipes involve like a lot of cheese and a lot of dairy and a lot of stuff like that, and that stuff gets me. So
Yeah.
instead of focusing more on recipes, I would like to focus on more maybe exotic meats that I haven't cooked, like different things that I've always wanted to cook but I haven't got to, like smoke a alligator or do different things that I haven't had the chance to do yet.
Yeah.
Because I like to I get more excited about a different cut of meat or like a different cut of beef that I haven't did before than some recipe like a keto pizza or carnivore pizza or something like that. I'd
Hmm.
rather take an amazing cut of meat and
Yeah.
just put it on the smoker and let the smoker do the work, and it just be tremendous whenever you eat it than all these different recipes.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what my favorite was about carnivore was the simplicity. It was amazing because the simplicity that you have and still to have something just tastes amazing. Like you're not feeling deprived at all because you still have this beautiful flavored fatty meat. You can't
Mhm.
beat that. So you
Yeah,
don't
and see,
feel like you're missing
most
anything.
people think that the only meat in the world on the carnivore diet is a ribeye, and I'm just like,
Right.
there's a whole lot more of stuff on a cow than just a ribeye. There's a
Oh
That
lot
was
of
it.
cuts of
goodness.
meat that are out there that you can try and cook in different ways and have fun with
Mhm.
it, especially if you got a grill or a smoker. So
Yeah.
if you're going to be carnivore for the rest of your life, don't think that you just have to eat a ribeye for the rest of your life. Like there's so many, the hanger steak, picanha, tri-tip,
Oh,
tons of
yeah.
different cuts on a cow, Denver steaks,
Yeah.
all the different other cuts of beef out there besides
Mhm.
just a ribeye that are also good.
Let's not
And then,
forget about
yeah,
brisket.
Yeah, I
brisket,
love
yeah.
me a smoked
I'm
brisket
gonna
now.
tell you,
Oh my
last Saturday
goodness.
was my husband's birthday, and we had a brisket. And we had some people over Saturday. So
Yeah.
Friday night, because it was going to be cooler Saturday, and it was a chance of rain, my husband had put a rub on the brisket. We put that in the oven overnight at like 225.
That's the way to do it. Yup.
Then we finished it up the next day in the smoker. And oh my word, it was so good. It was crazy good. So if you don't have a smoker, use your oven. Absolutely. Low
That's how
temp
I,
for a
yup.
long time.
That's
If
Yep.
you
how
don't
I
have
did
a
my
smoker,
brisket.
get one.
Some
I
people just
need
can't afford it
to.
or don't have a place for it.
Yes, we don't have our backyard all the way put together yet. So hopefully in the future, hopefully. Um, but yeah, but I did a real big, it was like a big old brisket that I had gotten from Costco. Oh my goodness. Still yet
Yep.
in the oven because
Yep.
of that slow and low. Don't rush it. Do not
Nope.
rush that brisket. Let that
Nope.
brisket do its thing. And oh my goodness, even in the oven, oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, that's what I told Brian. I said, we're going to start this in the oven and we'll just cook
Yeah,
it all night while we're sleeping.
right?
And
Yeah,
he got up before me and he looked at it. He said, we're going
yeah,
to finish it up in the smoker. I said, okay. So he had already had it started and everything else. So,
yeah. And then here's the mention of Buffalo Wild Wings does have carnivore choices where rub and sauces with no bad oils or carb sugars. Yeah, and Buffalo Wild Wings is for the most part like everyone's favorite in the proper human diet community, also because they fry in tallow. But I did see that some of their locations are not going to offer the tallow frying, which is a horrible business move because I honestly think that's mainly the reason why their wings have the amazing taste that
mhm.
they do. But I'm just gonna say, be careful to everyone. Like, definitely make sure that one of your locations is not making that horrible business move. But yeah, no, absolutely, it's a great choice.
I want to go back to something that Cindy just said while ago too, because it got me
Hmm.
to thinking something
Yeah.
that she might could do. She mentioned that they did a brisket and they did it in the oven at first, and then they put it on the smoker.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've ever tried it, but you could do the exact opposite and start it on the smoker and then finish it in the oven.
Yeah.
Because if
Oh,
you
okay.
start your brisket in the smoker, when a
Right.
brisket's really cold, when it's
Yeah.
really cold, that's when it takes on the most amount of smoke flavor and gets the good smoke flavor that people want. So you could let it go for so many hours on the smoker, and then if you don't want to let it go all day, you can take it and put it in the oven to finish it. And I think that will make your brisket even better, and it will help it get a better bark because you get a lot of bark out there on the
Mm.
smoker and you get all that smoke flavor. So I would probably try doing exactly what you're doing in reverse and do it
Well,
on the
we
smoke.
would have, except it was raining.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I told him we're going to start this in the oven because we weren't sure how the weather was going to change the next morning.
Got you.
I was fully prepared to just do it all in the oven if needed, if need be.
Got
Yeah.
you.
But
Mm.
yeah, because of it raining and it was pretty cold
Right,
that
right.
Friday night, it was like, no, we're going to start it in the oven. It'll be fine.
Oh, I'm sure it was
Yeah.
It
fine.
was great. Debbie, if you're
But that's
still
good
in here,
advice,
both of you
though.
Debbies.
Yeah, that's really good advice, though. Like, especially for, someone that is thinking of, wanting to be in the house and monitoring it partially in the house with the oven and then taking it out to the smoker. No, that's good advice because some of us, we don't know those type of things, that we don't think of those type of things.
Yeah,
But
if
with you
it's
being the
always
barbecue
best if it's
expert,
always best
yeah,
if you can. I see
right,
with
right.
her talking about the rain that she wasn't able to, but if you can,
Hmm.
start it in the smoker and then transfer it
Yeah.
inside. Like, sometimes I'll do my chuck roast and I start them in the smoker and I let them go low and slow for a while in the smoker and build up a smoke
Hmm.
flavor, and then I'll wrap them in foil and I'll either put them in like a pan and finish them in the oven, or I'll just leave them on the smoker in a pan, and when they're covered, they're not getting any more smoke flavor. They're just, getting more fall apart.
No, that's good advice. I wanted to highlight Amber's comment here because this is really great. Sometimes you got to step back from all of the experts and just listen to your body. I never had an appetite before carnivore, but now I recognize real hunger signals. Yeah, and that's huge because we have to realize all the information out there. Yes, it is so helpful and it is so useful, because just like I had to have a little bit of my standing my ground when it came to knowing that knowledge with my OB. So it is helpful when you have to deal with your healthcare professional to know enough. But then again, there does come a point in time where some of the information does become redundant.
Mhm.
Um, and it gets to the point where you really just kind of really have to focus on your mentality, focus on getting the food right. And exactly like Amber saying, the real hunger signal, because that is not as easy to recognize as we think it is. Um, and I'm going to have both of you weigh in on that because it definitely is different. When you have true hunger and just kind of feel like, I could eat something. I could go for something right now. So, Kip, I'm going to have you go first. Have you been able to tell the difference? Being, over a year on carnivore now, have you been able to tell the difference between what true hunger is and then kind of looking back that sometimes you ate when you truly were not having those hunger signals?
Absolutely, because back then I had to eat 3 meals a day just to survive.
Mhm.
Like, I felt like I had to constantly, and they were big meals each time, and a lot of times I'd eat snacks in between, and before I go to bed I'd eat some ice cream, or if we had some leftover cake or a honey bun or something like that. But now, I mean, today I haven't. Well, I did eat a couple beef sticks actually. I ate some of the Chomps beef sticks,
Oh yeah,
but
they're good.
I've had that, and then I'll eat supper. So I can listen to my body now and not eat breakfast, and sometimes not eat breakfast and lunch. Whereas, because if I'm not hungry, there's no reason to eat. That's why I love how when Dr. Berry says, eat until you're
Yeah.
comfortably stuffed, and then listen to your body. If you're hungry, eat again. And so that's basically what I do, and I've gotten really good at just knowing when I'm hungry. Like right now, I know that, like, I'm starting to get a little hungry, but I could honestly go a couple more hours if I want to. But then again, after this live stream, I'm
Mm.
probably gonna go ahead and cook them ribeyes.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Sydney, I'm gonna have you weigh in on that as well.
Well, excuse me. When I get hungry,
Hmm.
I'm going to reach for something that's more appropriate to eat. But if I get bored and want to eat, I'm going to reach for something I shouldn't have. Like, well, nothing
Very good point.
off plan.
Yes.
It's like maybe some Chalk Zero
Uh-huh.
or some of my favorite items,
Like the
you
snacky
know.
stuff, right?
But I'll tell you, the past Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, I did an egg fast.
Yeah.
So I had nothing but eggs, some cheese, and butter. That's part of your egg fast. You get
Mm-hmm.
whatever egg fast rules are. And then yesterday, I had egg stuff for breakfast for my first meal, which is always lunchtime because I don't eat breakfast. And then we went out after bowling last night, and I had a triple burger with cheese, some pickle slices at Steak and Shake.
Yeah.
And then today, so far, just eggs. But I have some chicken marinating in the refrigerator. So, coming off of the egg fast, you
Mhm.
still have to incorporate eggs, but then
Right.
a protein at night or your
Yeah.
second meal.
Yeah, because you
So,
gotta go through that transition, yeah.
but I'm telling you, I'm still not sick of eggs. I could keep on doing this for
I
whatever.
think you really
But
would have to love eggs.
that's how I do in any which way.
Yes.
That's how I look at it. If I'm really really hungry, I'm going to reach for eggs or bacon
Right.
or
Yeah.
a piece of steak or
Mhm.
something that's substantial to fill
Exactly, yeah.
that hunger. But
Right.
if you're
Right.
not truly hungry,
Mhm.
chances are you're eating out of boredom. And that's my
Exactly.
biggest thing at
Mhm.
night. And I haven't done
Right.
any of that this week.
Yeah.
So, that was part of the egg fast too, to get me back on track and all that. So,
Right.
yeah, that's how I look at it. If you're truly, truly hungry,
Truly hungry.
you're going to reach
Absolutely.
for the protein
Exactly.
that your body
Mhm.
needs.
Yeah.
So,
And I know Dr. Bear, like he has mentioned it before you grab something that is actually food, drink some water first and then wait at least like an hour. And if you still have that same feeling, then eat something. But if that feeling's gone, it might just be like you had to drink something. Because a lot of
mhm.
times we kind of get really busy that we don't really hydrate, and sometimes the body just, needed a refreshment is really all we needed. But
Shoot, I
here,
drink
Twin
all day
Maples
long.
has, yeah, but some don't. Some don't. Like sometimes you get kind of
Yep.
tied up, especially, depending on what people do for work. It's not always easy. Like a lot of jobs, they don't even allow any drinks, even if it's like a covered bottle, they still don't allow it because certain areas has to be, sanitary to a certain standard. So sometimes it's things we don't even think of sometimes. But
Mhm.
for Kib, is there a cut of meat or a breed of beef you would like to get on the smoker?
Um, well, my
Other than
favorite
the
cut,
alligator you already said.
yeah, but when it comes to beef, my favorite
Yes.
cut always to get on the smoker is
Uh-huh.
beef dino ribs.
Oh,
I
yeah.
absolutely love beef dino ribs,
Oh my goodness.
but something like one of my favorite things to make is wagyu briskets. I have a
Yeah.
place that I can get them here, but I've always seen this brand called Snake River Farms,
Uh-huh.
and I've never had the opportunity to cook one of those. But one day I'd like to cook some of the Snake River Farms briskets.
Has kangaroo made its way over by you in Alabama yet?
Nah, that's still on the other side of the pond.
When
It
you get this
just
brisket, you got
became
to record it.
available. It just became available at a butcher locally here in
I
Florida.
ain't tried it. I will definitely
So
eat it because I ain't scared to eat nothing.
it
I'll
it
try it.
I would try it too. It's a little bit pricey per pound, so I'm kind of waiting until like they offer just kind of, like smaller portions, but they have like kind of like a roast style is what they have now, and it's like 30 something dollars a pound.
Whew.
So I'm like, yeah, that can go for a lot of variety of meat. I don't think I could spend that much on just the kangaroo. So if they start offering smaller portion, I definitely will try it because
I'm
it's
all
one of
set.
those things. I mean, a lot of times, sometimes you eat certain things and it has like a flavor profile, like something you're familiar with, kind of like frog legs.
I
They
love
do
frog
almost,
legs.
they do. It's weird because it does kind of taste like a protein, like people say it tastes like chicken. Yes, it kind of has like that mild taste to it, but it does have its own flavor profile to me. It
I'll
definitely
tear them
has its
up.
own, and it's
You
good.
can have all of them. I'm
But you
not
know
going
what?
there
That's one of
either.
those things where literally I took a chance. We had like a frog leg festival like here in Florida, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna try one. And I asked my husband, I was like, are you gonna try some too? Because I will get it if you sharing it with me. We both shocked ourselves because we went back and we got more. because they were so good. You
Nope.
might shock yourself, Cindy. Give it at least a try,
Oh
even if
no.
it's just
Nope.
one.
Nope.
I
Nope.
dare you.
Nope.
It could be a video on your channel.
Nope. Nope. Not doing it. Not nope.
But you see, it could be as simple as Rick said he boiled pork shoulder for lunch today. You see,
Yep.
something just as simple as that. Twin Maples saying we collect 5 to 7 eggs every morning from the girls. Winter if over for the coop. Oh, you are so lucky. Have you thought about that, Kip? Because I know you do have a lot of land over there. Have you thought about getting chickens?
Not really, because when I was younger, we had them, and I just haven't. I don't know if I would take the time that I
Hmm.
need to devote the time to them right
Yeah.
now. Because maybe when my daughter gets a little bit older, we might do something like that. But
It's,
I just any little thing right now
Right,
that's going
right.
to take extra time, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, my wife can just pick them up from the store. She can
Yeah,
pick
it's a
up the
lot of
eggs at the
work.
store.
They're a lot
yeah,
of
it's
work.
Yeah.
difficult. Yup, it definitely is a lot of upkeep. I know, like, if we had them here in Florida with all the regulations, I would be having to get those girls checked all the time, to just keep in, compliance and to keep code enforcement off of my back. I definitely would have to have them checked. It's going to be pricey, put it that way. It would be a real pricey investment to have them, that's for sure.
Well, we had some in New Hampshire,
Oh, you
and
did?
we
I
did.
didn't know
And what
that.
the thing is, chickens, the chicken poop and chicken
Mhm.
feed
Yeah.
attract rats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The rats got in my son's work truck
Oh,
and chewed the
no.
wiring all to heck and back
Oh
Oh my
goodness.
twice.
gosh.
So then we've got hold of somebody that had
Ooh.
farmland, and they came and got them because that was enough. I just said
Yeah.
no, because up there it's so cold. So in the summer, in the wintertime, you can't even dig that crap up, putting it literally, to move it.
Right, right.
You have to wait till the ground gets a little softer.
Yeah.
So it was bad. It was like no, no, no.
Mary has great advice here. When I go to eat mindlessly, I ask my stomach right out loud, "Are you hungry?" Then I try to listen to the answer, which is mostly no. And that's what it takes sometimes. They
Yep.
they say that some people think people that talk to themselves are crazy. But then, on the other hand, people joke that, well, of course I talk to myself. I'm asking for expert advice. But that's the thing. A lot of times you do need to say it out loud because it registers. Mentally, it really registers, putting that accountability out there. Am I really hungry? And a lot of people, like I've seen a lot of people, they put stuff on their refrigerator to kind of be a reminder just to, stop for a second because sometimes we get in this habit of, it being so quick to grab something because I'm like, of course I'm hungry. And then you just quickly grab something. But sometimes you need that stop, that pause, if you will, that no, I'm not really hungry. Like I should not be grabbing anything. But here she's adding that she has farm beef shanks in the instant pot right now. Oh, you're definitely making us hungry. Better nutrition and homegrown. No, absolutely, because you know where the source is coming from. Rip saying, I keep rotten eggs handy for code enforcement. Oh, they are definitely fun here in South Florida. So I know you know all about that, Rick. Quail are easier. You can do them inside and no one would ever know. Oh, so that brings an interesting question. Have both of you tried quail eggs? I certainly have.
I have before.
I
What did you think
have.
of them?
I mean, I was fine with them. They didn't bother me any to have
Yeah.
them.
I mean, it definitely took a lot of quail eggs to satiate me because they're so tiny, but yeah, they were good.
I
They were
just
good.
don't, me personally, I don't eat a lot of eggs anymore. I mean, I eat eggs maybe once to twice a week now
Yeah.
because normally I'm getting full on ribeyes and smoked
Mhm.
hamburgers and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't crave them. But every now and then I'll be like, you know what? I just want to put some eggs on top of my steak. But if I was raising chickens right now and having tons of
Right.
eggs, I'd have them to be giving eggs away because I wouldn't be eating all of them.
Oh, and look at Scott. I'm up to about a dozen eggs a day now. I really like the raw yolks. I could do the over easy because,
Yeah.
of course, having that, oh my gosh, that over easy, just that yolk being like a sauce to the side of your meat is what my
Yep.
favorite was. So, like, kept saying, like, when I was in the mood for eggs, oh my gosh, it was over easy because I definitely wanted that perfect dipping for my meat. It was really good. But I have
Mhm.
not had raw yolk. I know, like, especially in the carnivore community, I've seen some use the raw yolk in their coffee. They'll kind of just froth it
They put the
and it
whole egg in their
becomes,
coffee.
I've seen some just use the raw yolk
I've seen some
because,
use the whole egg.
well,
Yep.
that's more so keto, but like in the carnivore community, because some they get irritation to the whites, so they're using just the yolk only. And I've never tried that before, but they said supposedly it takes the bitterness away. So that's interesting. Yes, good night. Thank you so much for coming in. Gotta run, folks. Going to bed early so I can drive to Montello, Wisconsin in the morning for the Homestead How meetup. Great live. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you. I said Coda Force was a hospital with poison wood and velvet bean. Oh gosh, Rick. Don't be admitting those kind of things. You're putting your evidence out there. Eggs
Not
are the
on our
fast.
stream anyway.
Eggs
No.
are the fast snack, even if I add some basil and oregano. It's really quick. I mean, especially like for my husband, with him being keto, especially like over 5 years now, that's what I would do. Like in my Ninja Foodie pot, I will just pressure cook for that easy peel, like a whole bunch of eggs Sunday, and then he has it to grab. And like Kip said, the chomps, the meat sticks, we purchased the big pack from Costco. So that's literally what he'll have. He'll have some eggs, he'll have some of the meat sticks, and he's good to go. Or he'll grab some burger patties because he's fine having the burger patties cold. So they're definitely, it makes it easy. Definitely makes it easy. I turned loose feral chickens in the area and code enforcement gave up. Oh my gosh. Probably you and the ducks probably gave them a run for their money. But Tezen is at Costco for $20. I have been loving, and it's more probably like an aesthetic thing, but they have these blue heirloom eggs. And the yolk is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. The yolk is beautiful on these eggs, but just having like that tint of blue on it just to me it's beautiful because to me that is like in a way like God's Easter eggs to me. They're just so beautiful and just I love seeing them aesthetically. But that's a really good deal for 10 dozen. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Oh, you see, Twin Maple says, yeah, I drop yolk in a coffee with butter and iodine. That's very much the mix that I see. The yolk with some butter. And yeah, a lot of them are putting the iodine in that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up some comments and then we're going to kind of wrap things up because, of course, Kip, we don't want to hold him any longer, especially because he is waiting on having those ribeye steaks. It's eggs I raise.
I'm gonna tear them ribeyes up.
Yep.
I finally got a Costco membership today after watching all these grocery haul videos over the last few months. Yes, it's definitely something good to have, also something dangerous to have
Good
because I
luck
don't
getting out
know.
of there for under
Yes,
$200.
exactly. That is exactly what I was about to say. Charlie, there is definitely a
Whew.
challenge that goes on, especially in the Costco groups. Good luck trying to leave with just one item at times because, oh my gosh, especially going in the meat department, sometimes you feel like you can't pass up when they have rollbacks on some of their meat. Scott is saying I separate the whites and put the yolks in a cup. Yep, that's mainly I've seen in the carnivore groups is the separation. Then I whip the yolks up with some beef tallow or soft butter. Yum. Yeah. In the keto community, I've seen the whole egg. But yeah, carnivore, it's all with the yolks. It's the elimination of the whites. But I'll eat like 8 a day. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people eat up until like even like a dozen eggs. Eggs are a good source of choline.
So I must be healthy, healthy, healthy right now.
Costco is my place. I just put an application in there yesterday too. Very cool. Very cool. Hope you add some content in about it. I would love to see someone get hired in the butcher department because that would definitely be interesting. That would make for some amazing content. Rick, I warned the code guy about the poisonous plants. He went in anyway. Well, if you said something, that's all you can do. If he took it upon himself to still go in, hope you get some good traction at Costco. People seem happy working there. Yeah. Do you have one local to you, Kip? A Costco?
Yeah, well, I live in a small town, so it's about 45 minutes, but we try
Mm,
to go pretty regular because I
yep,
mean,
that's the
when you
distance
need
for us
different
too.
stuff, and then I use an
Yeah.
app to where whatever grocery store has the best sales on whatever cut of meat I'm looking for, we'll if we have time, we'll run there as well.
What app is that?
It's called Flip,
Yep.
FLIPP. It's got 2 P's. You can
Yep.
just search brisket, and whoever has the best sale by your zip near your zip code,
Yeah.
or hamburger meat, or what steak, ribeye, whatever you want, and whoever's got the best
Hmm.
price, I mean, it'll let you know.
Yeah. Long time ago. Oh my gosh, that must have been like my first few months of making content. I featured the app because you download this app, Flip, like Kip said, it's FLIPP, and you put in your zip code, and it's going based off on the circulars, the weekly ads in your area according to zip code. And that's literally how you search. You search by item. So you could put in, like he said, like ground beef. And if there's anything anywhere in any weekly ad that has a sale on ground beef, it's going to give you a rundown list.
Nice.
And you can literally click. So, like, once it gives you that rundown list, you can click and literally make yourself like a grocery list of like what stores you want to hit up and kind of have a list of those sales. But yeah, I've been using it for a couple years now, and it's a huge help. It's
Yes, it
especially
is.
for, shopping for the meats especially. And I know, Kip went over a lot of different cut of meats that are really budget friendly, but even something like picanha you mentioned, think outside the box. Like I know a lot of us go to the big chain places, but check out like your Caribbean markets, your Latin markets. A lot of these markets have things so much cheaper than a lot of the big box stores. So don't be afraid to venture to like the cultural type of markets in your towns or your cities because they might surprise you, and they don't have a lot of time that extra like money to put out to advertise because they are very much, a small cultural store. But pop in there, see what they have because a lot of times they'll surprise you.
Yep.
I don't like egg whites when cooked sunny side up. So when I make sunny side up, I have four yolks and only one white. Pour the yolks on one white in a bowl and put them in the pan at the same time. Yeah, yeah, because some kind of have an irritation from the white, is what I've noticed. Um, so yeah, I've seen that very often as well. Some just kind of eliminating and just maybe putting it just one white in there, just so they can get that overall sunny side up. So Dustin's adding it'll be part-time for Costco. We've spent enough there in a year to get two free memberships. Yeah, a lot of us definitely have. Mary, have a great night. All good to see you. Off to the horde. Have a great weekend. Enjoy those steaks. Thank you so much for being here. My meal haul at Food Line for ribeye, just over $500, but 45 pounds of ribeye. Wow, you did good. That's really good. Though we made big purchases there. Yeah, a lot of us definitely do get those big bills when it comes to that Costco checkout. If you have a Save a Lot great buys last week, huge T-bones for 4.49 a pound. Yeah. Also Winn-Dixie, if anybody has a Winn-Dixie nearby, they definitely always have really good sales, T-bone or ribeye. Enjoy the ribeye, Kip. Happy night all. Thank you so much. So we have everybody saying good night, Kip. June, good night, Kip. Enjoy your ribeyes. I have that app, but have not messed with it. Definitely check it out because you will definitely see a lot of amazing sales in your area. Carnivores don't go regular, hee hee. Yeah, the not going regular and don't ever trust a fart. Those are pretty much the mantras. Laurel, my daughter feels like she's hickle with the fat on brisket. She renders tallow from it, and we keep it for almost all of our pan frying. Have you done it any rendering, Kip?
No, I've never rendered, but mainly because I just buy the tallow from Amazon. That Chicago, what is
Oh
it?
yeah,
Chicago, South Chicago
South
packing.
Chicago. Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I normally just buy that. I know it would save me a little bit of money by just,
Mhm.
using the trimmings myself, but I just got a meat grinder, so instead of using those extra trimmings for
Yeah.
stuff like that, I'm gonna just run briskets through the grinder and make brisket burgers instead.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a great idea. Oh my goodness, they would be amazing. Oh my gosh, that'll be really good. So we'll finish out with Scott's comment here. I made an egg white omelet today, 4 sausage patties, and 6 yolks poured over the top. Oh my goodness. That definitely is an amazing meal. You did good with that meal. All right, everyone. We are definitely going to say good night. Maybe there should be a book, Good Night Kip, and have it be all about carnivore. Good night brisket, good night ribeye, good night smoker. Well, we would have to say good night, Shirley Smoker. We definitely got to give Miss Shirley her recognition because she always showing up and she's always doing a good job and helping Kip out with all that beautiful smoked meat. But yes, everyone, thank you so much. We're going to definitely make sure to wrap this up because we've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes. So we definitely appreciate Kip's time. We certainly appreciate everybody in the chat because you could be doing anything with your Friday night, but the fact that you spent any little bit of time with us, we certainly always appreciate it. But thank you so much, Kip, for coming back on again. We would definitely, as we talk backstage, we would love to have you on again because it's always a pleasure to have you on, my friend. But everyone, thank you so much. We're going to let Kip get to those ribeyes and enjoy. But as always, we appreciate you all. Have a great weekend, everybody, and take care.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
God bless.